So for Learning Module 8, we took a deeper look into UDL, which is Universal Design for Learning, and I thought it was really cool to look into the origination of universal design, and knowing that it comes from an architecture background, I can um, wildly appreciate as, the planning with anticipation of different people in different avenues, um, different means of getting around, to really consider the options for, you know, a mother with a stroller having the same challenges as someone who is bound to a wheelchair with a physical disability. So, um, when considering universal design for learning and really looking at Gardner's different types of intelligences, to really connect with individuals on different levels of where they're at. Um, Essentially, when they have a deeper connection to their own personal learning, they will learn best, really. So, I am slightly delayed on reporting on this particular learning module because I was actually thrilled that in terms of timeline, the way things lined up, I had a lesson plan that I was planning on delivering this past week. Week and a few days. I did introduce it the week prior, but um, it's a history project, essentially the history of hair, and connecting certain decades with particular eras. And originally, it was designed to be more of a literacy lesson plan, um, as per one of our assignments last summer. And my intention was that each student would implement more of a monologue of a chosen icon for a chosen decade, and in more of a monologue kind of deliverance, if you will, they were to present their typical day of getting ready and what their hair, makeup, and fashion would essentially be of that time. And when we had this assignment to take something and revise it and to give it another layer of UDL, or to look at it in terms of UDL, I thought, you know what, this is really great, especially in terms of a project where the weighting for marking is significantly higher than your average kind of homework assignment. This is fantastic. And so, taking the inspiration from the original lesson plan, I decided, not only are we going to build a mind map on the whiteboard while the kids are using their devices to find different icons when we look up particular eras. We created this big mind map, and then I took a picture of the finalized mind map, which had the icons and then the decades, and then sprawling off of each decade that we discussed, we had the icons, but at the same time, I had a PowerPoint presentation on each slide, I had visuals of hair and fashion for each decade. So, they had a visual component to what we were looking into. And so some of them saw the hairstyles and they were like, wait, I know someone from that timeline. I Love Lucy. She had hair like that. So, it kind of helped create a bit of a deeper connection. And my intention for this history of hair and choosing an icon was so that the icon could give us a deeper connection point. So it was great. So the first day was more interactive. I got them thinking about icons. I had them consider 3 icons that they would like to do. And then the following day, we randomized. I had names in a bucket and drew names, and they had the opportunity to pick an icon, and I didn't want any duplicates, and I did actually max out how many students per decade because I wanted to have a range, the intention of kind of going over the history of hair. So I said no more than 4 from the 80s, no more than 4 from the 70s, 60s, 40s, 50s. We also had ancient times, and I did allow early 2000s and the 90s to kind of be one era together. I didn't want them to all fall deep into that rabbit hole because it's more relative to their living experience. But anyways, and it was really great. And rather than them provide this monologue and get into presenting their knowledge and what they've attained and acquired, their representation of knowledge, I then had them, I gave them options. So, okay, you're all going to do a form of a presentation. Okay, I kept true to that, which is part of the project. But I said you have 3 choices of a visual. So you can either do a classic style visual, which is more Bristol board and, getting more into the creative side of things and using your hands to develop this Bristol board. So you do a Bristol board, you could do some type of digital content, whether that be a PowerPoint slides type representation, or if that looked more like a video to you, that's quite fine. Or you could choose a little bit more of a creative approach and you can actually recreate your icon, your chosen icon of that decade. So, 2 pieces of clothing, whether that's one accessory and a top, or top and bottom, or bottoms and sneaker or footwear. I gave them some options that way. And then either, makeup and hair, or a couple options in terms of hair. So, yeah, like recreate your icon if you would rather do that, which was, I thought, pretty neat. And then in terms of a presentation, I had given them a couple options whether they wanted to come up in front of the class and speak to the class and share their knowledge by using one of their means of visual representation. They could either do it classic style in front of the class, or I said they were welcome to record a video. So whether that be of themselves, whether it be slides that are narrated in a short video, or whether that be, or I gave them the option in terms of presentation to either provide an original song or dance. And, it was great because we do have an individual that is, she should probably be a part of the life skills room. She's definitely behind her peers and she does have an IEP. But she really tries hard to be part of, our standard classroom, and I absolutely respect that. And she's a huge dance major. And so she took one of the songs from her icon. Her icon was David Cloverfield, and she chose a Whitesnake song and she provided an original dance to the Whitesnake song. And she had her Bristol board in the background, which had all the information and requirements in terms of, what was your icon's fashion, makeup, hair, and how did they produce that hair? And then speaking to the era as well in terms of fashion, hair, and makeup for both women and men. And she did the most wonderful presentation, and it was a really nice really nice change into the mix. And we had some students that wildly delivered. I had one student in particular want to encompass almost all of the varieties of options. So she dressed up like her character and created a short video where it was called The Throwback Show. And she was the host under one image and persona, as well as her icon. She imitated Vivienne Westwood on camera, which was phenomenal and very well executed. And I was really impressed that those that produced videos had the subtitles going along in the bottom, the captions, which was really helpful. Um, and it was great because even our students that are ESL students, and English is not their first, and so sometimes their enunciation of words is slightly off. They felt really comfortable when they were on video, and those captions kind of really helped clarify. Um, and I really try to lead my class as a judgment-free zone. And, you could really see how thrilled they were with the results and how entertaining some of them were. And, a few of them did take me up on impersonating their idol, and I loved it. It was a great way to showcase some of them that have a really creative side. And, it was really cool. It was really, really cool. So to be able to, try and connect with the different types of learners, the visual, the linguistic, the musical, the bodily movement kinesiology, kinesthetic learners, the interpersonal. I thought it was really, really cool. And, I definitely kept them quite focused. And as we were in the research phase, those that came from film or were music stars, I encouraged them to look into videos on YouTube of their star and find pictures to represent that timeline. And they all have a very, very great understanding of where our hair and makeup and fashion trends and techniques, kind of where they started and the progression of them. And we had a great conversation at the end how the different layers, essentially, like things kind of styles and trends, they kind of reinvent themselves, or they're adjusted to create something new, but they're not 100% original necessarily. So overall, it was a really cool assignment, and the kids had a lot of fun. And I really just look forward to continuing to reflect on how it went and refining this assignment that I think is a really good intro to hairstyling before we actually get hands-on with our tools. So thank you very much, Darren, for the challenge graciously accepted, and it, I think, was really valuable learning lesson for myself and the kids in the class. So looking forward to seeing more UDL as we progress into a new age of teachers.